Hello everyone, thank you for watching this video. In this video, we will discuss about public charge related questions within I-485 form. Many of you know that USCIS recently changed I-485 form, and by recently I mean December 23rd. It's been more than a month. I was very busy, that's why I could not make this video. But today we will discuss about public charge related questions from I-485 form. Just remember, we are not going to discuss about just I-485 form, what it is, who needs to fill it up, where to submit. Those kind of general discussions is not within the scope of today's discussion. I assume you already know those things. That's why you are watching this video. Here we will only talk about public charge related questions from I-485 form. So let's start. Many of you know that when Donald Trump was president, he introduced a form called the I-944, and there was a lot of questions regarding public charge rule, your tax file, your education, your credit card debt, all the assets, everything. And when Joe Biden became president, he canceled that form. It was a great move. We all appreciated. And then recently, same administration, they incorporated many of the questions from I-944 form to this I-485 form. Now we need to answer this very carefully because these are very critical questions. So I really advise you to be very careful about these questions. Don't just assume something and answer it here, because that may cost your precious green card. I know going to an attorney or some expert will cost you some money, but if you consider getting a green card easily, that is worth to spend that money. So let's talk about this public charge rule. So these questions are in page number 13 of I-485 form. From question number 61, are you subject to the public charge ground of inadmissibility under INA section 212A4? Most of the people will click yes, some people will click no. If you click yes, you need to answer following questions. If you click no, then you do not need to answer those questions, go to the next section. Now, how do you know you are within the scope of public charge rule or not? To know that, you need to go to USCIS website. This is the place, USCIS website, Part G, Public Charge Ground of Inadmissibility, appendices. There are 5 appendices. There are, I will talk about first 2, employment-based and family-based, because most of my clients are from these 2 categories. Also, most of the people who submit I-485 are from these 2 categories. That's why I'm not going to discuss about other categories. So I already opened this one in another tab, not this one. So this is the question, and here like a first preference EB1, EB2, EB3, and see yes in general, yes in general, yes in general. There are some special situations. If you click this 2, if you click this one, if you click this one, then it will take you there. There are some special circumstances, but most of the people do not fall within these categories. That's why you do not need to worry about these things. Most of the people will need to click yes. And similarly, if I go to family-based adjustment of status, let me open in a separate tab. So this one, yeah, this is the family-based one. See, family-based adjustment of status. Here, spouse, children, unmarried son, spouse, children, pretty much everybody is like yes, yes, yes. And similarly, there are some special situations here. You can read those things, but most of the people will not fall within this category. So just click yes. But you have to make sure that you're clicking the right one. So study this page. Try to understand whether you should click yes or no, and then click yes and no. Don't assume, please. These are very tricky questions. So let's go back here. So this is the question number 161. Sorry, question number 61. Are you subject to the public charge ground of inadmissibility under INA section 212A4? I assume most of the people will click yes. Then you'll go to the second question. What is the size of your household? This is a question you should answer from your tax file, form 1040 or 1040 NR form that you need to fill up and submit for your tax file, you should answer this question from that tax file. Let me open that form. So this is the 1040 form for this year. So you put like your information here, and then dependents. So usually if you're married, you'll fill up your name, your spouse's name, and then if you have any dependents, you're going to fill up here. So combine you, your spouse, and all dependents and come up with a number, and that number will go to here. What is the size of your household? I assume you have, you understand this question and you answer like 1, 2, 3, 4 depending on your household size. Remember, this question 62 the answer must match with your tax file form. The next question is indicate your annual household income. Similarly, this income must match with your tax file form. Let me go to the tax form. So this is the tax form. If you come here, question number 11, this is your adjusted gross income. In this 11, what is the number? In 11, that should be mentioned there. That is your annual household income, right? So you'll click the appropriate one. The next question is identify the total value of your household assets. This one is a little tricky because many of us, we have home, we have car, we have expensive computer, expensive TV, expensive furniture, your ornaments, like your gold, your silver. You have to, this one you can assume like the total value. You do not have to take everything to a valuation company and you have to exactly determine how much they're worth, but you can guess like, okay, my total asset is like, let's say $100,000 or $120,000 kind of, and then you can click. This one you can assume, but try your best to assume like correctly. Don't try to hide anything. That is my valuable advice to everybody. Please try your best to answer as accurately as possible. Please do not try to hide anything. The next question is identify the total value of your household liabilities, including both secured and unsecured liabilities. So this secured and unsecured is a legal term. You do not have to worry about that. Just forget those part. Just remember, this is the total number of your total debt. So your credit card debt, your student loan debt, your house mortgage, your car mortgage. If you have any personal loan to any person or any institution, combine all the loans, combine all the debts, and come up with a number and click the appropriate number. Try your best to be as accurate as possible. Please do not try to hide information. 66 question number 66. What is the highest degree or level of school you have completed? This one is comparatively straightforward. If you have a master's degree, PhD degree, remember, just this is about completed, not just you are attending. You have completed. So let's say you are you're a PhD student, almost graduating, but you are still not completed your PhD. So click the one that you already completed, like master's degree or professional degree like JDMD, something, doctoral degree or something that you already completed. All right, let's go to the next question. List your certificates, license, skill obtained through work experience, and educational certificates. This is kind of like, just mention all the certificates that you obtained, like educational certificates like a master's degree, PhD degree, bachelor degree, etc. If you have any special skill about like like a computer science thing, like a data science or anything, mention those things. Try your best to write as much possible, but I understand we all have like many different kind of skills. Like let's say I am a very good communicator. I know how to speak very good. I don't have to mention that. I only have to mention that is like that. Just remember this as those things you mentioned your resume. Just mention those here. Like let's say you are a very good person. You don't have to mention that here. Just mention those things that you mention in your resume. That's enough. This question number 67. 68A, this one is a little tricky, and I will advise you to be as transparent as possible and try to be very serious. Have you ever received Supplemental Security Income SSI, Temporary Assistance for Needy Families TANF, or State, Tribal, Territorial, or Local Cash Benefit Program for Income Maintenance, often called General Assistance in the state context, but which also exist under other names? So this is very tricky. If you Google SSI TANF, you will get list of the programs that is within this program, within this question. So if you already took money from those programs, you must click yes. If you did not take any money from those programs, you'll click no. But just remember, there's a lot of funding, especially federal funding, that mingles with state funding and other city funding. So if you have any confusion about any fund that you already received, whether they are not within the scope of this question or not, you have to be careful. You have to ask the source. Let me give you an example. Let's say you took a money from your city or your state, and you do not know whether those fund or those money are within the scope of this question, like this SSI program or TANF program. You have to call the office from where you got the money, from where you submitted your application, and you have to make sure that those are either within this program or not. You have to make sure. Please do not assume that. I get a very common question all the time. Hey, I'm an international student and I just got the money. If I are not eligible, why did they give me the money? You cannot say that to USCIS. You cannot say, hey, if I'm not qualified, why they gave me money? That's a question. That's not a valid question. It's your job. It's your responsibility to make sure that you are entitled to that money or not. Just because a city or state or federal government gave you money doesn't mean that you are eligible for that money, because when they distribute money, it's very hard for them to determine who is actually eligible and who is not. So it's your burden to make sure you are receiving the right money. I just want to say one thing about this question, that if you received any money from pandemic time, like COVID benefit, that is not within the scope of this question. So even though you received COVID money, you will still hit no. But for other kind of funding, like a federal funding or state funding, you have to double check and then you have to click yes or no. The next question is, have you ever received long-term institutionalization at government expenses? A lot of people are confused about this question, because institutionalization also refers to like being in jail, like if you do any criminal activity and if they arrest you, that's also called institutionalization. Here they only mean long-term hospitalization. So here institutionalization mean actually hospitalization. So whether you were in hospital for a long time at government expense, not like regular expense, at government expense, that means mostly Medicaid and Medicare. So if you receive Medicare and Medicaid kind of benefit and or, then you will answer yes, otherwise you will answer no. So try your best. So this is my advice to all the people who are not green card holder yet, who are not permanent resident yet. Try your best not to take any money from federal or state government. If you receive any money from, let's say, non-profit organizations or your university, that's okay. Even a lot of city funding has some sources from federal and state money. So try your best to avoid city benefits, state benefits, and of course federal benefits, especially like healthcare related things, because those are like very involved with a lot of federal funding. Try your best to avoid those things. Now let's question to 68C. If you answer yes to 68A, then you need to mention like the benefit received, what are the benefits, start date, end date, and dollar amount. If you answer no here, then you just write not applicable, NA. Similarly, 68B, if you answer yes, then you will mention institution name, city, state, date from, date to, and reason why did you take that. If you answer no here, just say not applicable, that means NA. So those are the questions related to public charge. It starts from page number 13, question 61, to page number 14. At the end of the 14, question number 68D. I hope I explained it very carefully, and I will highly advise you to answer this question carefully. And hopefully this video was very beneficial to you. If you have any question, comment, you can always reach out to our firm. We'll try our best to help.